To begin our presentation today, I'll be providing you with some background information on the topic of clothing waste reduction. Did you know that in an American study, 40% of participants admit to trash being their main clothing disposal method, usually because of usable life and personal relationship to the body? All but 5% of textiles sitting in a landfill could have been recycled instead, according to a Council of Textile Recycling. And textiles, when they decompose, can cause negative effects, such as slow decomposition, taking up space in a landfill, or releasing gases that contribute to the greenhouse gas effect. The purpose of our program is to decrease the amount of clothing waste that is improperly disposed of by making proper disposal methods more convenient and impactful. Finally, our focus is the collection of to-be-disposed clothing so that it can be dealt with properly and appropriate methods of disposal or reuse can be employed.
The strengths that our campaign would provide include the convenience of the service itself. By collecting unwanted clothing from their curbs, the priority audience would be alleviated of the effort in dropping off the clothing themselves. In addition, we provide easy accessibility to the service, which relies on a personalized door-to-door pickup system, allowing the individual to access the service at an agreed-upon time. With consideration to the cost related to people dropping off their clothes to locations themselves, this campaign will focus on providing a free service which will benefit them by having the cost of engaging in our behavior significantly reduced. Individuals who participate in our door-to-door service will also be encouraged by receiving recognition to remind them of the benefit they'll be providing to the community in reducing textile waste, as well as other incentives to be discussed later.
Due to the small scale of our operation, a weakness that may restrain our budget and affect our overall performance may include limitations on our resource pool, staff, and storage. Although this is a current weakness facing Trash to Textiles, our marketing plan aims to develop partnerships and/or sponsorships within the local community that aim to streamline our operations, since our current situation is still restricted by resources and overall reachability. In other words, our ability to operate the handling and storage of unwanted clothing will require extensive distribution channels, which we currently do not possess. Being that our service relies on a door-to-door pickup service, our strategy would need to be personalized to the specific community that we would be engaging in, and would require extensive adaptation if we were to expand our reach elsewhere. As previously mentioned, there may be opportunities for further growth in this campaign via partnerships with other local organizations who may share the desire to reduce clothing waste. Our research has indicated that individuals within our priority audience have shown increased environmental concern regarding the disposal of unwanted clothing. This will be beneficial in that they already show a stage of pre-contemplation since they have a basic understanding of the environmental impacts of clothing waste. Though this audience would require an added incentive to successfully adjust their current behavior, they are socially predisposed to. Furthermore, we can strengthen the attractiveness of our desired behavior by enhancing their knowledge on the social issue via certain events or promotional activities such as a website or mailbox pamphlets that would rely on community support to aid in generating positive attention to our campaign. These will be discussed in further detail. Another opportunity may include potential distribution channels that can ease the dissemination of the clothing we collect. This will not only reduce costs associated with labor and storage, but will also help to solidify and sustain network relationships within the community. By successfully alleviating these expenses, we can focus our attention on the marketing of our campaign itself, which will help to further solidify the behavior long term.
To ensure that our marketing efforts are successful, we need to select a target market to appeal to. Initially, we thought it would be a good idea to find out what type of a person is more likely to throw out their clothes away. After some research, we weren't able to determine a demographic that contributes more to this issue. Instead, we decided to focus on the reasons people improperly throw out their clothes. A study of over 3,000 North Americans discovered that 75% did donate their clothes in some way. Of those people that threw out their clothes, 25% said it was because it was more convenient for them. 54% of respondents reported that they did not recycle their clothes because they thought a donation center would not take them. We also considered targeting those who shop at fast fashion stores or people who hoard their clothes. In the end, we decided that the group we would be able to have the most impact on, and the right size of people, were those that threw out their clothes due to the belief that a center wouldn't take them. A focus for us will be communicating to this audience that even clothes in rough shape can be reused or recycled under our program.
Our knowledge objectives target our audience to learn that their unwanted clothing, even if damaged, still has value, as it can be repurposed or reused. We also aim to educate the user of the negative environmental impact of clothing placed into the garbage. We strive for users to understand that disposing clothing in a proper collection bin can provide a second life by becoming something new via textile recycling, or the ability for the clothing to be used in more sustainable and community-supporting ways, such as donation.
Trash to Textiles offers a clothing collection service for our customers. The collection service will run on a 12-month rotation. We chose a collection program as it is more convenient for our target audience. Collection programs also have, on average, a 24% higher participation rate than drop-off programs do. Upon providing over 15 pounds of clothing, participants can then receive a discount voucher for a sustainable clothing brand, such as Lululemon or Patagonia, to help encourage proper disposal of textiles. A Facebook check-in will also be made available to act as a public pledge. We hope to create commitment to follow through with and to spread awareness to other like-minded members of society, all while creating an official link to our Facebook page. Mailbox cards will also be used to spread information about what Trash to Textiles does and how participants can reduce negative impacts on the environment. This helps us work towards achieving our belief goal of consumers believing that their actions can change their environmental impact. An app that tracks the amount of clothing collected and the resulting impact is another great tool that supports the purpose of Trash to Textiles.
Our service would like to have an application that will have users create an account to keep track of their progress. We believe that there is more of an incentive to participate if there is a visual of the differences that they are making. We want as many people as we can to participate, and with an app on everyone's mobile devices, we believe that will go a long way. Plus, by keeping track of users through the app, it will be a lot easier to average out how much clothing each person is donating once the pickup is complete. Checking how many people participated in accordance to how much clothing was donated will tell us on average what each person donated, and that will point us in the direction of how much more participation we would need to reach a specific goal. When will these measures be taken? These measures will basically begin once we have officially started the service, because we would want to see how much participation we can get in the first couple of runs. This will help us figure out what we can change and how we advertise to get more participation next time. Once we begin partnering with other organizations, we will report our numbers to them. More participation will mean more partnerships, and more partnerships means more help with funding. The app will help us with these numbers, and there will be a business version of the same app so that all employees and partners can view an overall progress rather than just one person's progress. This will be a collective progress app that gives averages based on location, age, etc. And this information will help us make informed decisions on our future game plans with these partners.
Our largest cost, by far, would be the bins themselves. At 42,000 households in Lethbridge, one bin will cost around $160. If we collected once a year, we would need around 1,600 bins. This would bring our cost up to $123,000.
What costs will be associated with evaluation-related strategies? The applications for users and workers would only need a small amount of startup costs, as the apps themselves will be coded internally. We would need to integrate a GPS and location system to be able to see participation hot zones, and that would cost a little to nothing, as there are free programs that can be used for that. Since the app will not be used worldwide as of yet, free app creation programs and internally coding would be the best bet. At most, it will cost about $25 to $100 to get the app up and running and online for multiple platforms.
The Government of Alberta offers a Community Incentives Program, which funds nonprofits that address social issues in Alberta. RBC also provides funding to nonprofits that address social issues in exchange for commercial or promotional exposure. These are just two of the options available to Trash for Textiles as a nonprofit organization that addresses social issues that impact citizens of Alberta.
Due to the size of our operations, we can avoid the costs associated with physically sorting or recycling the unused clothing ourselves by creating distribution channels. Our streamlined service will require our staff to simply transport our annually collected clothing to various organizations, such as the Canadian Textile Recycling Limited. This organization currently operates their own curbside collection system that sources items to various charities at a markup. The revenue is approximately $13.5 million a year, with a constraining employee base of around 50. If we were to lease our collection service to organizations such as these, we could establish long-lasting partnerships to sell our clothing to, at a reduced markup. Organizations such as these are also the main distributors of reusable clothing among charities. Thus, we will be contributing to the reuse of textiles, as well as planning to develop further business relationships with the charities themselves down the road.